Everybody, this is Calvin Waite. I trade crypto for a living. I'm not a registered or licensed financial advisor, planner, or broker, so nothing on this channel should be taken as a recommendation to buy or sell. I also trade all of these things, so I probably have a vested interest in there. But there's plenty of entertainment value and lots of education, so this will be awesome. For those of you who didn't know, my subscription channel is live. So look at the link in the description over at cryptoinfluencers.com and you can see how I make all of my trades and what I do and what I think about everything. This channel is for more hypothetical and looking at trends, and the other one is for actual trading, so you might be interested in that. All right, happy Monday. I hope everybody had a good weekend. It's been a good fun weekend. Lots of green, lots of things moving in the right direction. It just so happens that today Bitcoin's taking a little break, Ethereum's taking a little break, and that is perfectly fine. I haven't been at all concerned about this, but there are a couple of developments because of that. So let's talk about a couple of things. First of all, just wanted to remind you, I am found at cryptoinfluencers.com. This is where my free channel is. This is where my paid one is if you're curious on how to manage risk and how to trade. So cryptoinfluencers.com, and this is free. So I would encourage you to at least sign up for the free one. Support me there. And then Wednesday, we're going to be doing a live stream again, 12:30 12:30 Mountain Time, 2:30 Eastern. That's when I'll be available. It's a good time to ask about alts or other things that I don't get to on this channel. And but yeah, we'll just we'll just sit back and chat and go through everything as much as you want. Also, let's see, let me get over to the right place. Just had a cool couple of trades, so I figured I'd share that with you guys. SXP closed it this morning. It's kind of cool because since I can use 75x leverage on Mexi Global, I'm able to make a $51 trade and make $5,000, so that's pretty sweet. Don't mind doing that at all. And then I closed XRP as well. So if you're curious on how to do all this, you could sure join us. We're still at the beginning of the season. We have a lot of upside, but there are ups and downs in a market like this. And so last year we definitely, once we started getting moving, we turned right around and then things got weird. And I have no idea what the future holds, but I can certainly tell when a trend is starting to fade away. So I'm being pretty cautious with any kind of pullbacks. But this is what I'm seeing. On the daily, we have the highest wick possible on Bitcoin, and the highest wick is at 29,184. So this number right at the tip top of this is the best place for us to flip from resistance to support. So we were resisting here, we broke through, and we're coming back down. Our true resistance line, this is the do or die line, it's all the way down at 28.5. If we get below this line, this is going to be an ugly chart. And I'm going to be very interested in potentially going short or at least pulling some profits, something at this point. But if we can get an intersection of this wick with this wick, or at least at some point in here in the next few days, I'll be very happy about this because we will have done a perfect handoff between resistance and support. The prior resistance we didn't necessarily hit unless you count this dude. So we got this really tall one and it was in the range. I mean, it was pretty close. In fact, this could be close enough, but I still think it'd be nice if we did a little bit of sideways here and then we ticked back up, and then man, this would be explosive. Really, really good. But yeah, so for now, nothing's broken. Everything's looking pretty solid on Bitcoin. And one other thing, this is a little bit more, I've talked on this channel quite a bit about how different candles will mirror each other. You get a long down and a long up, and downs that are mirrored by ups. You kind of have these things. The technical term for these are BART head patterns. So if you get a move up, then you chop sideways, and then you get the exact same move down, and the move up, chop sideways, move down, move down, chop sideways, move up, just kind of does this thing. And what I'm seeing here is our breakout gave us a big candle. And I would be looking for, what I would be expecting, is a big candle to mirror this. And guess what we're getting today? Most likely, this is it. This is the move down from this candle. The beautiful part about this is that we're doing this way up high. So if we moved up, went sideways, started showing some weakness, and then moved down, this would be a little more dramatic. In fact, our long candle would bring us all the way down to here. So tomorrow is going to be a big question mark, because if we get a long big candle to create a continuation, this could get upside down very fast. But if this candle is simply being mirrored by this, and then we have some small candles in here, and then we start consolidating, and then we start ticking upwards, man, I can't even tell you how strong that will be. So this move is not a big deal. And I would rather start this move way up here. Maybe I can zoom in a little further. I'd rather start the move way up here and move down a full-sized candle and still be in the upper side of the 50% mark of this guy, rather than start down here and close all the way down to here, because that's starting to get a little bit uglier. So, but yeah, I'm actually, this is a perfect place to take a break, and as long as nobody piles on, this should not be a big deal. The weekly candle just closed, so we have a chance to analyze that really quick. Here's our inverse head and shoulders. Our target's still up in 35,000 land or somewhere. I think it was, no, it was actually much lower, because 24. Oh, let's do it really quick. The wick to our baseline is 88.50. So if I go 88.50 from our baseline, it's just under here. So to hit our target on this move, if we can nearly get our 100, it'll be perfect. So there's a lot of reasons why we would find resistance here, and not a lot of reasons why we would pull back here. If we consolidate, though, it'll be just fine. Like there's no issues about us consolidating at all. But phenomenal close. Like, we're ignoring this red since it's only less than 24 hours old. This big green candle after our 3 weeks of breaking out or of consolidation is phenomenal. This is an awesome move, and I would expect us to continue with this. There's no resistance here, so the resistance is up here. So I don't know why we wouldn't continue here, unless the daily starts getting fatigued. But here, this is not a move that would completely reverse this market yet. I don't see anything that's deadly. Let's take a look at Ethereum, though. Some cool things with Ethereum. Ethereum had the best structure, and it produced the biggest move out. The only question is, are we ever going to retouch these wicks? And the answer is, I don't think so. At least not for a while. So Ethereum, I think, is very bullish. We've got some amazing fundamentals going on, and we've had the right structure, and we got a little excited. But the interesting thing about this move is that even though there's a window between here and our current price action, the big move here is not this resistance at 1900. The big move is the resistance at 2000, and we went blowing through that. On the weekly chart, look at the size of this weekly candle destroying this resistance. And this resistance has been in play for a very long time. February of 2021. This line is huge. It's so important. Being on the right side of this line is like, man, it's like the difference between months of upside and months of downside. And we are, over 2 years playing with this line here. And how do you break these? Usually you'll either, so leading up to it, you love to see a little wick on this that pulls back, because it just shows you that the line's still here, that people are watching this line. It's still in the conscience and in the mind of the people that are trading this the most. We're up here, the people with the biggest money that can move charts around. We touch it and we pull back as respect. And then the next move, either we close on the line. If it's super important, we'll usually close on the line and then try again to move on the other side of it. Or if you have a giant candle that destroys it, it tells you a lot about the sentiment in the market. This structure is phenomenal. So we had a beautiful close. This is in the books. So a little bit of a pullback doesn't faze me at all. No big deal. If we close a red week, we could easily have another strong move up. And my target here is currently the 100-week moving average, but we'll see how it actually plays out. But phenomenal weekly close. This is a move that this area has been in play for over 2 years, and closing above it is like, yeah, how much time is this? We lost it December of 2022. It took us 322 days to get above this. This is monstrous. Very, very awesome. So this still could be at the top of the move, or nearing the beginning of this move. The one thing we have to keep in mind, and we have to keep this in mind from Bitcoin's perspective, is that after we hit the bottom, there is usually a year of sideways. It's usually a year. This was October of 2015. A year later was here. So we had some ups and downs, a lot of sideways, a couple of cool breakouts, a couple of scares, but we're up and down all over the place. This is how this year usually goes, and this year was way more intense. If I look at April 2019 to April of 2020, yeah, that impacts all of this. So here we did break out, an awesome run, pulled back, pulled up, pulled back, thought we were gonna get going, COVID crashed, and we were like right in here. So this is the year of sideways. We're up and down. We're all over the map. If we ever did a full vertical thing on right after the bottom of the bear market, it would be something Bitcoin's never seen. So we just don't have a history for that. And so what's my expectation? I don't expect us to move too much different than what we have in the past, especially where our percent gains from the bottom to the top has decreased. We're doing many hundred, like tens of thousands of percent gain here. This one's maybe 10,000 or like a couple 1,000% gain. This was more like, it was more tame. So each of these cycles is getting less and less intense. And so I would expect that during the period, the year of the chopping up and down, that we wouldn't get too crazy. So I know there's a lot going on out there. The stock market, recession, all these things that are in play. I don't see why we wouldn't have some ups and downs. So I'm being cautious, and I'm watching out for tops. We've had a pretty sweet move. We're about double from our bottom, and so this 100% move on Bitcoin, there might be a little more in the tank. You don't know. I don't know, but I would expect plenty of ups and downs. I know there's a lot of people that are preaching that we're just going straight up forever and ever, but those people are newbies. So because of that, even with Ethereum, when Ethereum starts running and moving pretty strong in one direction, if we stop coming back for support, that's when I get nervous. And in this case, we'd have to come back quite a bit. We'd have to come back down to 2,000 for some kind of support. Do we have to come all the way back down to here? I would prefer it, but we're kind of a little high. For the width of our bands, coming all the way down to here would kind of be a little scary, unless we had a wick that pulled us back up and we stayed above this range. That would be fine. But I kind of feel like we need to close and stay candle bodies above our 2,000, or else we'll probably be turning back down. The threat of that is happening is pretty low, I think, because we just have a green zone means every single average is below us. And that means there's just support like crazy all over the place down here, which makes falling a little more difficult. You'd have to really turn this thing upside down, and that won't happen unless we get overextended. And we're kind of getting there. I mean, our 50-day moving average is like 1750. So it's a pretty decent ways away from where we are. But if we continue up into this area for a couple of months, we could be fatigued. So I'm always watching. I'm always watching for the potential of a turnaround. So those are the things that that are on my mind. But look at Bitcoin dominance. So let's kind of change gears and look at some of the macro stuff. Bitcoin dominance has really come down. Isn't that cool how on this channel we really nailed this 49? That's so cool. But yeah, this ended up being our top. And so because of that, there is, so these I put in as this is probably a range that we're going to be interested in. But this range came into play as a midpoint. We swung up and down across this, and it became a midpoint of our range. And then this one wasn't important. We just kind of coasted through it, and it was this one that rejected. So I'm going to clean up my chart just a teeny bit. This one's not important, and I'm going to take this one out too because it's not important. The action is right here. So Bitcoin, the most important line on our Bitcoin dominance chart is 49%. So this line, I'm just going to leave it right in here. And if Bitcoin dominance ever drops down to like below 40, it's time to start selling alts and getting into Bitcoin. So we'll watch this over time, but this move down is very significant. And notice a lot of these moves off the top, they're very steep, very steep. This means I would expect a full alt season coming up here soon. This steep move means that we're heading down, and I would not expect, especially where this was sort of our consolidation and we just blew right through it. Our next consolidation is way down here. So there's a lot more to go. The only sad thing about this Bitcoin dominance drop is that Bitcoin is also dropping. If Bitcoin was moving up still, that just means alts would be launching. And alts are a little slow to warm up. We did barely enter a green zone on microcaps. If you take everything out, we're still in a green zone here. So there's a lot of upside for alts. But altcoin dominance is just barely starting to wake up. I mean, we pretty much double bottomed right here. And there is a ton of upside once the market's ready for it. My eyes are on the 50. If we exit the red zone on the microcap others dominance, man, that's when things will be flying. But yeah, I mean, some of you might be wondering, why would I take profits on a couple of alts when the alt season is like just barely starting? Well, I'm a little patient. I'm very patient on a lot of trades, but I'm not super patient about taking profits. If a coin is starting to lose, yeah, so look at this coin. We're trading in our highest range area ever. Like, as far as this history, I don't know, maybe there's more history. But we're up pretty high. We've pulled back, found support on the 20, and then we're now oscillating, and we just lost the 20. This can be temporary. I mean, maybe this is just a break before we continue to move up, but I don't, when I've got a decent percent in my pocket, I'm not going to let go of that very easily. I'm just going to put that in my pocket and try again if the market improves. But look how far above the 50 we are. Look how there was no structure between our breakout and our upper consolidation. And look at this. Look at this. This is a bull trap right here. When you have a nice high, and then bears have a sweet day in the sun, and then it's bull's turn, and they produce 2 candles, and that's it. This is looking pretty weak. So that's my opinion on this. We'll see if it's right or not. And then XRP, we just went consolidation for way too long. If we start consolidating for too long, I mean, there's a time frame for all of this, but this is almost looking like a descending triangle at the top of a decent move. So there's usually weakness in here. If we were significantly sloping downwards, then there's a case that it's a bull flag and there's support and we're coming up. But we're having these weak attempts at higher lows, and we're significantly down from our swing high area. So it may not be serious, but I'm expecting some kind of a pullback, so I figure I'll let it go. If by chance XRP wins their lawsuit, then this is gonna fly, and I've missed the boat. So you're always taking a risk. But yeah, so far that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, our market's going to close in a couple of hours. We've pulled back really, really beautifully. Not a lot of emotion here. And it kind of happened on a green day with the S&P, which is interesting. S&P, green day, highest close of this move, which means this move is still active. We have this leg up is still going. And what I'm really watching for is a weekly close above this close that's noticeable. We beat it by $12, I think, or just not $12, like 12 cents, like really, really tight. If we can get a move up here and close, then S&P is going to be so bullish. Doesn't mean we'll go straight up, but that just means that we're probably putting in higher highs and higher lows, and we're just going to keep moving on, and that will support Bitcoin. The final thing to mention is that the Ethereum withdrawals are halfway there. People have withdrawn 1 million already. There's 900,000 to go, and the amount of Ethereum deposited is really coming up strong. And I think this has to do with some institutional investors. It must be Kraken or something else that's all tied up. And so kind of the bulk of what the individuals, the people with weak hands that might be pulling out, they are probably out, and they've had their chance. And so if the price is barely budging, and we've got lots of deposits coming in, withdrawals are down to like 500, 200, recently just a little over 1,000 Ethereum per hour. So this is way low. Withdrawals will just be a nothing burger, and the deposits and all the excitement is going to kind of continue flowing in here. So even though charts have to do their thing, we have to do our supports and resistance, and we kind of have to, do our thing. There's just a lot of reason why this could really get hot. I would love to see a little better structure now that we've kind of stretched out a little far, but yeah, you can do that in many ways. A consolidation that slopes down very gently will take care of any issue here. Or we hit the 2,000 and we bounce back up and we're back ready to go. We get a little cup off of an obvious support line. Yeah, so there's a lot of things that could happen, but we don't make the charts. We just respond to them. We're not whales to that extent yet. Nobody's that rich in my circle of friends, I guess. So we're just reacting, but you can make a lot of money reacting. So as long as you're just careful and patient and keep your positions small and do things the right way. All right, that's good for today. We will catch you all tomorrow. And I've been working on a kind of how to trade thing. I'm rolling it out to the pros just so they have something to point to when, like if you subscribe, that you can have something pretty specific to kind of go through. So I'm working on that, and then a kind of less specific version I'll pump out to you guys. You can get some good advice on what to do about trading. All right, you guys, we'll catch you on the next one. See ya. Thanks for making it to the end of my video. Make sure you keep those trades small. Don't force a trade. Don't get impatient. And if you want to see how all this works, please come over and check me out on the subscription channel at cryptoinfluencers.com. Again, the link is in the description.